Hi everyone, this is Rob from the Edge Powersports. Just wanted to do a nice little walk around. We're actually going to take you for a spin on the brand new Suzuki DR-Z 4S. So incredible bike. This one we've actually kitted out with the RS12 Yosh exhaust on it. So bumping up that horsepower just a little bit and giving us a little throatier sound. I was actually owner of one of the previous generations, the 400, and had the Yosh exhaust on it, did a bunch of other goodies to it. That one was a carbureted model, obviously. But we're going to check out the spunkiness of this model and take it on the freeway too, because unfortunately there's a lot of misconception about 5 gear versus 6 gear on this unit. 5th gear on this is actually pretty long on it, so it's got some good legs on it. So we're going to do a little run up on it and take you out for a spin. So we'll see you here in just a second. All right, gang, well, we're going to get fired off here. Just a couple things about some of the electronics on the bike. It is a one-touch start system, so you don't have to hold the starter button down. If we look at the gauge, we can actually notice that we can scroll through our power modes. So on the Suzuki drive mode system, basically A mode is going to be the most spunky, the most horsepower out of it. Actually, I kind of step back on that. It's not going to reduce the horsepower in any of the other modes. They're just a little softer getting up to that full horsepower. So A is going to be the crispiest. If you want to switch it, you're going to hit your mode button and highlight that box. Then you're going to use your arrow buttons to scroll up or down to switch which mode you want. C mode is awesome for a nice slick rainy day, or maybe it's a little frosty out. And then B is just kind of a nice intermediate mode. So we're going to put it in A mode. That's our most entertaining mode. And then traction control, we can either have it off, or we can have it engaged on level 1, 2, just a little more engagement. So just for our thrill, we're going to leave it turned off. Now when you turn the traction control off, this traction control light stays highlighted just to remind you that you do have your traction control off. The ABS light will go off once you start rolling about 3 to 5 miles, and unless you turn the ABS off, you do have that option as well. And we'll kind of talk about that when we get back from our little test ride. So we're going to fire it up here. I've already warmed up the bike, so don't chagrin when I just rip off here. All right, we'll see you here in just a few. Go on a nice little urban ride here. 5th gear, buzzing along about 55, 50. Not too taxed out on the RPMs. Way in the streets. If you can just find yourself a nice little happy dirt spot. Kind of funny, you can feel the ABS kicking in when you do have it engaged. Very solid runner. Super capable. That Yosh exhaust sounds awesome on here. All right, well, I hope that was a pretty good visual example of how this little monster runs. Got you on the freeway. A lot of people are a little shyish about the 5th gear versus the 6th gear. Obviously up on the freeway, I was doing freeway speeds and a little extra on that too. So I was actually passing people when they're doing 70 miles an hour. Very comfortable. I wasn't at full RPM. So the 5th gear on this is actually pretty long. There's a lot of areas where you'll just be kind of cruising around 50, 60 miles an hour in 5th gear, and it almost feels like you're lugging the bike. So it's got a lot of distance on that 5th gear. So don't let that hold you back, gang. This is an awesome bike. We're going to go over some of the other features on the bike, just kind of show you some goodies here. So we're going to take a look at the dash up here. On the dash, we're going to turn that on. You can see that you actually have the option of turning your ABS on or off. So you can cycle that. That way when you're in the dirt, you lock up the rear brake, it's not going to start dancing on you a little more skittish. That way you can slip and slide it a little bit. So definitely have that option on the setup as well. Traction control, you can leave that on or off, or one and two on the engagement. And obviously we've got our Suzuki drive mode on the power, A, B, or C. A is going to be the strongest. C is going to be the mellowest, getting up to that full horsepower. So awesome setup. If you actually look, I'm going to kind of fiddle with the mode button here, and that will cycle us through our options on our gauge. So when you hit your mode button, that's going to highlight that first square there for the power mode. Then you can cycle up and down. Like I mentioned before, C is going to be the mellowest engagement. A is going to be the crispiest. They all get to that same horsepower though. Once you've selected and you're happy with that mode that you're in, you're going to hit the mode button again. That's going to bring you down to the traction control option. Now I've got it turned off right now. That's actually why that traction control light is highlighted, but you can either turn that to off, on, 1, 2, 3. So then you can really set that up and really dial it in. So really helps out on if you don't want to lock that tire up. Definitely helps out in some of those rainy days, or maybe it's a little icy out, and just keep everything nice and happy. Still has the standard oil fill in the frame. A lot of people kind of wonder how much oil they need. There is a level on there. Personally, I've raced my Supermoto when I had mine set up in Supermoto mode. Drop 2 quarts in it and you're solid. Don't have to worry about any measurement, and you'll be fine on it. So it does have a dipstick here. Remember, when you are checking your oil level, you want to have the oil a little warm so you get that full expansion on that. That way you'll get a proper oil level on it. So ideally, fire the bike up for about 2 minutes, let that oil heat up a little bit, get a little expanded, shut the bike off, then you're going to check and see where that oil level is at. As far as fuel-wise goes, we do recommend premium octane in it. A lot of us run high octane ethanol free, so if you can find that, even better, and that way the bike will just store better for the winter time, and hopefully you're not storing the bike, you're riding it quite a bit, and you don't have to worry about that. So you do have some options right there. It is a keyed gas cap, so all your keys are exactly the same on it. Gas cap, seat release, all the fun stuff. So then, if we take a look at this side of the motor here, we're just going to kind of get ourselves a little familiar with some of the components that we're seeing. This is actually where your oil filter lives, in this chamber right here. You do have an oil filter drain, so before you change your oil, basically you're going to drain that, let all that oil come out of that cavity. That way when you pop your cap off, it doesn't make a big giant mess all over the side of the case there. So that's definitely helpful. And then water pump, that will be the water pump drain. So if you ever want to flush your coolant out, you're going to pull that bolt out, crack the cap. It'll shoot out about 3 feet on you, unfortunately, and then you can get that flushed out and put some happy stuff back in there. Usually the Suzuki coolant, it's actually a pretty long life, about 8 to 10,000 is what they recommend on that coolant change. But if you want to change it earlier, nothing wrong with that. As far as the foot pegs, you do have the option of removing the rubbers. Just got a little piece of hardware right here. It's an 8mm. Remove that, then you can pluck those out and have more of a waffle style foot peg. That way it'll stay a little more grippy on that. One thing I really dug about this test ride, gang, is we put the Yosh RS12 exhaust on it. What a difference. Really woke the bike up, made a big note sound to it, to where it really makes it sound a lot throatier. There are some sneakier things that you can do underneath the seat to get a couple more horses out of the bike. There is a little rubber intake inlet that you can actually remove and make that snorkel a little bigger. And I've even seen some owners will actually remove the side cover to the air box and just leave the outer panel covering on. So depending on the kind of riding you're doing, you can bump a little bit more horsepower up on that, and then just make it a little more spunky. But awesome bike, one of my favorites. Tons of goodies. It's got the LED headlight or LED turn signals now, so really updated that. And then we've gone to this single projection headlight on that as well. Really makes a huge good beam out on the dark stuff. I have had this out at nighttime, and really made a big difference on it. So gang, if this is something you want to come check out, come see us at the Edge. We'd love to spend some time with you on it. Get your butt out on the road and get out and have a good time. Go get these things dirty. That's what they're built for. They're built for all sorts of different occasions. If you're going to be doing more off-roaded, I would recommend after you wear these tires out, maybe throw a little knobbier tire on it. These are more kind of a 70-30 tire. So they work really good for all different occasions. They're not perfect at everything, but they definitely do a good job at what you want to do on the bike. So come see us, gang. We'd love to spend some time with you. Hope that helps out. Hope that clears up some of the misconceptions about the 5th and 6th gear. 5th gear is super long on these, so you'll have plenty of legs out on the freeway. I was doing about 85, so plenty of legs on it, so should be good to go. All right, gang, well, hopefully we'll see you soon. See you next time. Thanks.